starting our interview. So can you please briefly introduce yourself and your business, including when you opened this hostel and what's the future for your hostel?
Okay. So my name is Omer,
Yeah.
and I run this Haifa hostel, which I opened March 2020, 1 week before COVID started. And then we had 2 years of COVID, so there were no tourists. They were not allowed to come in. And then we had a year and something of tourism, and then we had a war. Now we are here. It's great. Best decision of my life.
So before the war, what's the main customer for this hostel?
Open-minded travelers, not necessarily the ones that go for the obvious destinations in Israel. This like Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Dead Sea. So people that come and say, oh wow, there's another city there, it's next to the beach. People don't talk about it so much. Maybe we'll go check it out, Haifa.
Yeah.
And they come here and some of them just move on, and some of them like it and discover it like I did. So,
Yeah, we love it. It's so nice here.
it's nice, huh?
Yeah.
That's the thing about it, that it's nice. It's not sexy like Tel Aviv. It's not controversial like Jerusalem.
Yeah.
It's not dead like the Dead Sea. It's just a nice city. But part of it being nice is that it allows different forms of life to coexist here. It's like a little microcosmos of...
But it's like if you want to experience the local life, like what did the Israeli they really live in, you can find here. Like most of the people.
In Tel Aviv also we have real Israelis living, but they are all either rich or willing to spend all of their money on superficial things. Haifa people are not like that. They made the decision to live here because they said, I have different priorities in life. I want to be an artist, but I don't want to be a slave in McDonald's. So I will live in Haifa where I can afford to live a life and be an artist in such concepts.
Yeah. So after during 2 hours COVID and then war begins. So what direct impact did your business really face?
What it's really facing?
Like what kind of impact to your hostel? Like maybe all the cancellation for the customer and the decrease in the traffic?
Yes, there is no tourists. There's a few, but it's not worth it. Basically, what's on the table now is that maybe I will either leave the building and give it back to the owners, if they will allow it, or I will just give them back the first floor of the building.
Yeah.
So like this I will pay less rent and I will only have the upper floors.
Yeah.
And I don't like this so much because this building is
Your baby.
my baby, you know, I designed it, there's a story here, it works together. And if you cut part of it, it doesn't work. So I'm gradually building up this internal pressure to go crazy. And then I will tell them, you know what, fuck you guys. I'm not leaving the building, I'm not leaving the one floor, and I'm also not paying you the full rent that you want. And then we will see what will happen. So in the last days I'm getting pissed off inside.
When is the last day?
Huh?
When will be the last day?
I think it's going to be happen in the next days. I still didn't pay the rent of this month, so let's see.
Oh, okay. So, because the guests or the tourists, they will concern of the safety, so they won't come to Israel. So it's not even in Haifa. So I saw a lot in Tel Aviv, in Jerusalem. Most of the hotel they are closed, and like I saw a hotel in Akko. The whole building are closed.
Yeah, some of them are closed, but actually the hotels in Israel are the ones that made the most money they ever did in their lives during the war.
Really?
Yes, most of the hotels in Israel became rich as they never thought they will make money because the government paid them to host the evacuees. And they are fully booked. They have 5 people inside the room. They get the full top money that they would have ever made out of customers, like 100% occupancy. And their government is paying more than what tourists would have paid.
Yeah.
And they are not giving the full services that they would have given. So the people that have hotels, like this one just over there across the street from us, bling bling, they made a lot of money. But the small businesses, the small hospitality businesses, did not have a license to take evacuees. The government gave permission only to the big hotels to take evacuees.
Yeah.
So the big hotels got the evacuees and they got the money from the government. And we didn't get anything. No
None
compensation.
of the substitute?
Nothing. No compensation, not even reduction of taxes, nothing. And it's very typical of the way the government managed the resources during the war. If you are evacuee or you are a reservist in the army, you get benefits, you get support, and you are still not happy. But you get, and you can get more, and you can milk it, and you can get vouchers for this and free entrance for that, and airplane tickets and all sorts of good things. But if you're not in one of these two groups, nobody cares about you, the media don't talk about you, you're too small, you don't have a story, and they will tell you, you didn't lose your home, or you're not serving in the army, so you have no reason to complain. Well, actually, I'm alive, so I should say thank you. You know, a lot of people, they say, at least I'm alive and my family are okay. But still, if a government is fair, it should, dispense the resources in an even way, and it should invest energy and brains into doing it that way. But they didn't, they just cut it. Some people are evacuated, and the people that are in the village next to them, 500 meters from them, are not evacuated. And they cannot pay for the... Why? Because it's arbitrary. They passed the line and they said everybody underneath this line are not evacuated. But sometimes, so it's not fair.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is, you know, it's a jungle and you need to survive. And I think it makes people become criminals because they start stealing from the government, stealing from the taxes, stealing from their neighbors, stealing from their tenants, you know, not stealing, but they say, you know, fuck it, you need to pay rent, pay me the rent, because nobody cares about me, so why should I care about you? And this makes the people separate.
Yeah.
Because if the government, if the parents don't teach the children to take care of each other, they only put the slogans, we are together, you know, there is this slogan, together we will win. Together, but they don't care about us. They're just corrupt politicians taking care of their positions and their flights. They keep flying. This government is flying all the time to conventions and to vacations. So if they don't care about us, then we don't care about them. And then the people start to behave in a criminal way. And then what will be, we will see. So me also, I need to be crazy and to say, fuck it, fuck my landlords, I'm not paying you guys. Fuck the government, I'm not paying you taxes because I'm not making any money. Fuck my neighbors, because I will need to survive. Because behaving in a different way is not gonna make me, you know, pay my bills.
Yeah. So how can you survive during those 4 years? Like, because you opened in 2020 and you got 2 hour COVID and then 1 hour war. How can you survive during, like, you already successful, like 4 years?
How can I? I'm good in surviving. We are made to survive.
Any plans that you do? Like
No plans. I work, in COVID I worked construction, I worked carpentry, I did moving, I sold my tools, I sold things, and I rent the rooms for on a monthly basis, so it covers some of the rent. And now in this war, you know, every time you burn the fat, you know, you need to give up on things. I sold my car, you know, I get rid of stuff. It's a good opportunity to get rid of tools that I'm not using anymore. And I'm doing all sorts of small jobs. And I'm burning the fat that I saved. And I took loans in COVID, I paid them back. In this, still here I still didn't take a loan, but I did some other things to get money which have a
You
price.
work for the other, work for the other jobs, and then you cover the money for the hostel.
Yes, basically.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. That's why I don't lie. When I tell the people here and they tell me, I want discount on the room, you know, I tell them, there is no discounts. What you are paying is the cost of keeping your room in the hostel, and it's not even covering it. So it's equal. Nobody gets discount because there's nothing to discount from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how about, do you think they have a ceasefire agreement with Lebanon and then they stop the missiles? So how do you think that?
I don't care. I don't care for the missiles anyway, you know. There's more chance of being hit by a car here than being hit by a missile. Especially if you don't live in the penthouse. You know, if you live in the penthouse, maybe more chance that you will get hit by a missile. But if you live in the first floor like I do, the missile is not going to go between the buildings like this and hit me in the balcony. So what will happen? The windows will break. You know, I'm not. You need to calculate your risks.
But if they cease the fire, the international traveler will come back. The tourists will come back.
Not so fast. It takes time. And this is not a real ceasefire. It's just a little bit of like, let's stop, but they keep fighting. And now you have the war in Syria. And what's the next thing we'll have? Maybe Jordan and Egypt. You know, if Syria is like just flared up like this, the day that we signed the ceasefire, Syria, all the rebels came out because Hezbollah was down. So who knows what's next, you know? The whole place is burning. It's a very interesting place to be in. I'm happy that you are here sharing this experience with us.
Yeah.
But I don't think that tourists are going to start coming back anytime soon. That's why I'm thinking maybe of giving up the building and, you know, go work in McDonald's, flipping burgers.
Oh, what a shame.
I just told my friend, he came to borrow some tools from me, and I told him, I wish I could just go and be your helper, you know, work for 100 euros a day. I help you. I taught him how to work, but now he's independent. So I come, I work for you. In the end of the day, I drop the tools, I go home to my family, no phone calls in the middle of the night, this crazy guy, that, you know, like...
It's better for your life.
I don't know if it's better, I don't know if I can do it, but it would be nice to get rid of all of this responsibility, you know?
Like as a hostel owner, do you think what's the biggest challenge and the benefit from this war?
The biggest challenge from this war?
And the benefit.
The biggest challenge is to keep the place, basically, without turning it into a prostitute house or destroying it with foreign workers from some country that come to work in construction. Basically, to keep the place, that's the biggest challenge. And once tourists come, I will remember why I'm doing this. By now, I forgot already why I'm here.
We're tourists too.
You're a tourist, yeah, but you are much more than that now. And what's the advantage from the war?
Yeah.
It's not boring, as they say in China, no? May you live in interesting times. No, they have this saying, at least that's what we say that you're saying. May you live in interesting times.
Really?
I think it means, because you guys in your history, you were so much busy with rebellions and floodings of the rivers and attacks from the north and all of this. It was always interesting. So if you want to curse someone, you tell him, may you live in interesting times.
Oh, okay.
At least that's another stereotype about China. But it's interesting times. And I love it when it's interesting, because it's a very good time to try and keep your cool and to keep smiling and to stay a human being and not to give up.
You already a good experience. You have experience on Interviewee.
you know, the Israeli people are post-traumatic. As a people, not only being Jewish, also the ones that live in Israel. You are raised from home being post-traumatic. Your parents are post-traumatic, your grandparents are post-traumatic. My parents immigrated, my grandparents immigrated, my great-grandparents immigrated. So you are always running away from something, and there's a reason why you are migrating, and there's the whole, you know. So this is the country of post-traumatic people.
Yeah.
And I think the only condition when post-traumatic people feel alive and good is when things are not working well, when it's a total mess, when the shit hits the fan. That's when post-traumatic people stand up and say, okay, now we are in our element, now we know what we need to do. This is the rest of the time they fight with their neighbors, and they're depressed, and they do all sorts of stupid things, and they look for problems.
Yeah.
But when real problems come,
They work together.
they were built for this. They were forged in these conditions. So when it's really shitty, it's the time when a lot of people are like, okay, now let's do stuff together, or now let's keep it cool, or now let's do something, you know, it makes a... So for me, it's like, oh yeah, okay, it's shitty again, perfect. I can't live in paradise, it's too boring. You know, I tried it didn't work. I came back. It's too boring. Everything is nice, banana from the tree, coconut, hammock, on the beach, easy money, life is good, everybody's blonde and suntanned and, you know, surfers. It's too boring.
But you still got your daughter, like, is it, as a father, like, even it's not related to the interview, just my personal question.
I thought this is where the interview starts. Now we're talking.
Like, as a father, how, for your daughter, like for your children to live in a country that is so unstable, or the society that is so unstable.
Good, they're going to learn how to deal with life. They're not going to grow soft.
They're early?
You know, like just like this soft puppets. They're like, oh yes, I'm just going for I have ski in Aspen, and I'm thinking of doing Erasmus in Barcelona. And she's not going to grow only like that. She will also have some more survival skills, you know. I hope I will teach her how to deal with it better than I was taught. But definitely I want her to grow up in the jungle and not to grow up in you know, like in a bubble, because the bubble is going to burst.
Yeah.
Especially in Europe and in such countries. Ooh, no. They are just recently, in the last almost 10 years, they started to discover they have cancer. And it's going to eat them from the inside. So it's better for the people of the world to wake up. I'm not saying to turn into these prepos that go and start building bunkers and learning how to make fire with a stick. But you need to wake up and understand who are the people around you, who are the new kids on the block, what do they want, and stop with this progressive bullshit that's making people handicapped from actually addressing their problems in a straightforward way, not in a good or bad way, not in a racist way, just a straightforward way to say, we have a situation here, there's a cultural clash, we need to deal with it, and we need to take care of ourselves. And this is, that's the situation. And we've been dealing with this for some time now. We've been brought up into this. And now the rest of the world is waking up into this. They forgot what happened 100 years ago. And now they're going to, you know, the fascists and the right wing are going to come up, and they're going to become mainstream, and they will have different flavors, and they will have the more easy to digest flavors that are not going to be just like, you know, crazy, let's kill people, but they're going to start talking about let's take care of ourselves because we can't afford to carry the rest of the world on our backs, and we need to close the borders, and we need to start being autarkic and self-sufficient, and Babylon is going to fall. It's not like an apocalypse thing. It's a gradual, natural process of things. You can see it happening in Europe. And this is priorities, and it's better to set these priorities early before it turns into a shit show and you won't be able to come out of it. Like, I think the ones that are going to procrastinate and are going to stick to the progressive, ultra progressive ideas until the end, they are the ones that are going to be flipping in the end and turning into the real crazy fascists, because they're going to go from one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
The ones that are going to be, you know, more human and mediating and understanding and trying to balance things, they will find the middle way and the new balance of things, because the middle way keeps moving and you need to keep up with it. So yeah, now there's new balance, there's new center. But that's only my personal opinion. I just work here, huh? You know, but I've been watching the people of the world passing in my hostel, talking with them.
But the world is like controlled by those leaders on the top.
Yes, but the leaders, they play on the people, and they get that's the thing. Democracy actually gives the people the opportunity to choose an idiot that is not qualified just because he knows how to speak with them. And that's where demographics come in. When you have certain parts of the society that are growing in the demographics because of their way of life, or their, you know, perception of life, or perception of contraception, these people at some stage will be able to use democracy to go back to dictatorship or monarchy.
Yeah.
And that's what we see happening now in Europe, and they are trying to stop this. And also in Israel, well, yeah, it's a controversial topic. But yeah.
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 Okay. Last question. Anything that you wanted to say to the national society, international society, and your customer, or anything? Or to tourists?
Well, I'm talking now to the international society. Hello. All of it? Or you have like specific... Okay. What do I have to tell them? Come see for yourselves. It's interesting. You see, the sun is shining. It's about 25 degrees. I'm just wearing this because I'm lazy to take it off. Sun is shining. It's a beautiful sunset. And yeah, come see for yourselves. And you're welcome to stay in the hostel. We have plenty of empty beds. And enjoy traveling as long as you can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.